Hi, it's me, Jasmine, once again. Hope you're having amazing days. I'm going to share with you in this video about traveling during COVID-19 pandemic. Lately, I've been to the beautiful and amazing place in the Negev Desert in the wilderness of Zin. Its name is Avdat National Park. Coronavirus disease 2019 COVID-19 is profoundly affecting life around the globe. Isolation, contact restrictions, and economic shutdown impose a complete change to the psychosocial environment in affected countries. These measures have the potential to threaten the mental health of children and adolescents significantly. As countries gradually lift travel restrictions and tourism slowly restarts in many parts of the world, health must continue to be a priority, and coordinated health protocols that protect workers, communities, and travelers while supporting companies and workers must be firmly in place. Only through collective action and international cooperation will be able to transform tourism, advance its contribution to the 2030 agenda, and its shift towards an inclusive and carbon-neutral sector that harnesses innovation and digitalization, embraces local values and communities, and creates decent job opportunities for all, leaving no one behind. We are stronger together. So here we are. I'm sharing you this clip about the Avdat National Park. Avdat is undoubtedly one of Israel's most striking and beautiful sights, set within the incredible landscape of the Zin Valley in the center of Israel's Negev Desert. Avdat National Park offers spectacular panoramas and enchanted hikes through the incredible desert scenery. The spectacular canyon is the result of the power of the waters at Avdat, or the Avdat Spring. It forms part of the longest wadi in the Negev, the Zin Valley, which stretches over 60 kilometers and attracts visitors from across the country. One of the things that's so great about Avdat is that it's hike for all skill levels. There's a short trail for those who just want to see the reflected pools that make Avdat famous. There's a long and steep one-way trail for more adventurous hikers. And there's an in-between hike that's perfect for families with kids or anyone looking for an easy walk in an incredible place. The entrance to Avdat is near Sde Boker, Ben Gurion's desert home and burial place. It's a national park, so we stop at the gate to show our Parks card, which gives us entrance free to all national parks in the country. Since Avdat is a national park, it's clean and well maintained with facilities and parking. We started along the Blue Trail, which takes you the whole way out and back, and were immediately taken in by the unusual natural beauty all around. Giant walls of white rock towered above us. A gentle spring bubbled quietly at our feet. It was impressed all over again at the incredible variety of nature that can be found in such a small area. Avdat is only 20 minutes from the stark and rocky scenery of Maktesh Ramon, and an hour and a half from the forested mountains near Jerusalem. It's also close to the alpaca and llama farm. After a few minutes' walk, we reach a large cave, silent except for the sounds of birds chirping as they swooped from one rocky cliff to another. A griffon vulture sat on an outcrop at the top. We'd been hoping to see the bird since hanging out at the vulture lookout at Maktesh Ramon. There were none inside the whole time we were there, so it was exciting to finally spot one. We waited patiently for it spread its wings for a better picture. Then we moved on towards the end of that waterfall, which gives the park its name. This waterfall pours down through a wide canyon, forming a large reflective pool of water. Golden mountains lay in sun rays in the distance above the falls, and a long strip of chalk-colored rock divides the pool, creating a walkway for getting closer in. It makes a great spot for picture taking. N is Hebrew and Arabic for spring or water source. Avdat derives from the nearby city of Avdat that stood south of the canyon. Avdat was named after the Nabatean king Obados, who, according to tradition, was buried there. According to prehistoric era in the history, habitation during the prehistoric era is attested by numerous flint artifacts found in the area believed to be 80,000 to 90,000 years old and part of Mousterian culture. The flint in the outcrops nearby was utilized for arrow and points. Ostrich eggshells and onager bones shed light on the fauna at the time. Man-made knives and other handheld implements date from the Paleolithic and Mesolithic periods. Remains of a small settlement consisting of several round structures dated from the Bronze Age. During the Hellenistic period, Avdat became a station along the Nabatean incense route, an ancient trading route from Egypt to India through the Arabian Peninsula. Agriculture developed during the early Roman era. Forts along the incense route developed into thriving cities with many public buildings and farms. In the Byzantine period, Avdat was inhabited by monks who lived in the caves. They carved out closets, shelves, benches, stairs, and water systems, and decorated the walls of the caves with crosses and prayers. UNESCO, the United Nations organization, recognizes Avdat as a heritage site in part because of the uniqueness of the magnificent Byzantine church. Dating from the 3rd century, it is both one of the earliest and one of the best preserved churches constructed before the recognition of Christianity by the Emperor Constantine. The church was badly damaged by Bedouin vandals in 2009. After the Muslim conquest, the region was abandoned. After the establishment of Kibbutz Sde Boker in 1952 and the construction of Highway 42 Elite, a hiking trail was created. Avdat has been designated a national park of Israel. The Grand Canyon of Avdat is part of Nahal Zin, the largest wadi or dry riverbed in the Negev. The 100-kilometer-long riverbed begins at the northwestern tip of Maktesh Ramon and heads north before veering sharply eastwards. Avdat was created by erosion. The southwesternmost springs is En Ma'arif, featuring a series of waterfalls and pools. A Byzantine fortress overlooks the spring and adjacent agricultural land. Farther north in Avdat, a 15-meter-high waterfalls that flows into an 8-meter-deep pool of water divided by a small artificial dam. Located near the northern entrance of the park is a spring called Enmore, named for the spice myrrh. Growing around the springs are popular poplar trees and atriplexes, commonly known as salt bushes, which grows on riverbanks and can tolerate salinity. According to statistics compiled by a weather station at Sde Boker, the summers are hot with almost no precipitation, while the winters are cold with some rain. The lowest recorded temperature for January was negative 3.6 degrees Celsius or 25.5 degrees Fahrenheit. In the summer, temperatures can reach over 40 degrees Celsius, 104 degrees Fahrenheit. The humidity is relatively kind. Avdat National Park is also home to one of Israel's populations of griffon vultures. Peer up towards the top of the canyon walls, and you're likely to see a few of these majestic creatures swooping down. This past week, we returned to Avdat. We got to see vultures and cool pools. The kids had tons of fun climbing in canyons, walls, on ladders, and we even discovered a secret cave. It was a great place to escape from the crowds. Here's what we saw on the last week journey through Avdat. It takes quite a while for us to drive down to Avdat. The minute you step out of the car onto the trail, the natural beauty of the waterfall canyon spreads out in front of you. Little streams tickle between large flat rocks. A palpable silence fills the space inside the canyon. From chalk-white rock to springs and reflective pools, the scenery at Avdat is unparalleled, which is why the national park attracts so many visitors. As beautiful as Avdat is at morning, we're still most interested in climbing rocks along the path. We also thoroughly enjoyed spotted griffon vultures atop the canyon walls up above and pointing my camera in the right direction. After a short walk, we reached the most popular area at Avdat, the reflective pools. There were a lot of people hiking that day, but that didn't stop us from weaving our way through the crowds to find a spot on the other sides of the water. On a quiet day, there is an area almost magical. The play of light and shadow in the water in the canyon creates an otherworldly atmosphere when it's crowded. Though it's hard to spend too much time contemplating the wonders of nature, the beautiful nature. So after a few minutes, a stone staircase and climbed up to take the views from above the canyon. The end of that canyon is part of Nakal Tsin, the largest wadi that begins in the Negev. The wadi bed of Nakal Tsin suddenly becomes active amidst and following torrential rainfall and rains into what once was the southern end of the Dead Sea. The sea slowly dries up on its southern end. Nakal Tsin becomes along the northwestern rim of Maktesh Romon, 20 kilometers south of Avdat, and heads north. The end of that canyon section of the wadi cuts into the northern edge of the Avdat Plateau. The canyon marks an abrupt change in Nakal Tsin's route. Below the canyon, the wadi breaks beneath the hanging Tsinim cliffs. Among these cliffs, many spectacular canyons rich in water sources drop into Nakal Tsin. There is a theory that initially Nakal Tsin continued northwards and joined Nakal Habsor, and its waters eventually reached the Mediterranean Sea. When the Araba Valley was formed, the wadi, which was former Nakal Habsor, was captured by a newly developed Nakal Tsin flowing from the west to the east. Due to a sharp drop in height, 150 meters, the waters of Nakal Tsin carved canyons along its way. Prehistoric artifacts were found in the area, helping to date the change in Nakal Tsin route to a few 100,000 years ago. It is possible that the end of that canyon was formed only 80,000 years ago. The springs in the end of that canyon emerged from between horizontal layers of rocks. The source of the water is still not known definitely. The region is arid, and during rainfall, the runoff does not infiltrate but drains away along the wadis. The current theory is that the spring comes from flash flood water that has seeped down through the streambed gravel. The end of that surroundings have been visited and inhabited by different people for thousands of years. The trail continues along the riverbed. The canyon grows narrow and its walls are taller. A lone Atlantic terebinth tree on the left from the trail is estimated to be 350 years old. After this tree, the stream bed begins to carry water, and soon the trail reaches the most impressive point of the site. The two walls of the canyon close, and from the height of 15 meters, a waterfall splashes into a deep pool divided into two parts by a small artificial dam. Hope you enjoy watching this video. Thanks, and hope to see you again. Goodbye, and please don't forget to subscribe and share my video. Subscribe to my channel. God bless.